Today, we continue our randomized Nuzlocke of the ROM hack Radical Red. Things are heating up to a new level with even more challenging battles. Then we will have to save Bill from his devastating mistake and take on the electric phenom Surge, as we try not to let our run end today. We pick up our journey in front of the Vermillion City gym. Flashing forward as we tackle Nugget Bridge, our first battle of the series of double battles is against Butterfree and Vermillion. We start by switching our Randomized into Tinglu and attack with an Air Slash onto Butterfree, who eats a citrus berry to escape its HP being in the red. 2 Air Cutters hit, with the second doing more damage and causing our Vermillion to need a tag in. Switching into Quaxwell. Air Cutter comes again from Vermillion, but Butterfree switches up with a Mega Drain onto Tinglu. We fire off a payback that sends Vermillion back into the red. We Aqua Jet to send Vermillion to the Shadow Realm, then a tank a Mega Drain to heal with our Citrus Berry, and fire another payback back again. This brings out Wormadam, who looks kinda like a pizza slice dropped at the beach. Aqua Cutter and Payback bring her low, but leave enough for a Bulldoze to hit in return. A repeat of the moves from the previous turn puts Wormadam to bed. We now face off with Jigglypuff and Amora. And guess who's back to lead?
I'm big!
We lead it off with an anchor shot from Randomized and take a round from the opposing team, and we send back a low kick that does major damage to Amora. The turn ends with a weak Drain Kiss from Jigglypuff. Amora swaps out for Brionne. Meanwhile, an anchor shot ends Jigglypuff, and a low kick does minor damage to Brionne. Round hits Philip hard, but he holds out where Randomized fires back a Giga Drain to take Brionne down. Philip somehow doesn't bite the dust to a Water Pulse, and low kicks to seal our victory. After a heal, our next battle is against Electrike and Plusle. They have a speed advantage and double team Philip with a Grass Knot and a Shockwave. And again, he somehow manages to survive.
Nothing without me, Walter. Nothing!
A critical hit on our Giga Drain sends Electrike back to the bench, and Rock Slide does a good chunk of damage to Plusle. As Snover comes in, I switch out Philip rather than making him cannon fodder, and we switch into Dave our Ariados to devour a Grass Shot. Randomized fires off an Anchor Shot doing a good bit of damage, however a Mega Drain helps mitigate that. This battle is in the bag though, so we Sucker Punch, Plusle, and Giga Drain Snover to get the dub. Our next battle sees Philip square off with this thick, and I mean thick with 3 C's, Rat, Greedent, who tanks a low kick and throws back a Seed Bomb. I decide to switch gears with Philip, having him lower Greedent's attack stat before switching back to attack with a Rock Slide that trades with the Seed Bomb. The battle hasn't gone much of anywhere, as I switch in Dave to a Seed Bomb. I set up a Sword Stance and get hit with a Facade in return. I decide to Sword Dance again, and take another Facade. 3 times would just be cruel, so 1 Poison Fang turns the Rodent to Roadkill. Togetic comes in.
I'm in danger!
Clamperl comes in, and like Deja Vu,
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
onto our second to last battle along the bridge, we stare down a Mabostiff with Philip. Philip's intimidating figure causes Mabostiff to run and to be switched into Mischievous, which a low kick has no effect on. A Hex and Rock Slide trade and do about the same damage to each other. The same moves trade again the next turn. Dave switches into a Hex, doing a bit of damage, but we Shadow Sneak the next turn to bring Mischievous down into KO range. However, a Will-O-Wisp halves our attack and takes away that chance. Quaxwell comes in, while Salandit comes in on the other side. Toxic lands, but Quaxwell sends Salandit to the Shadow Realm with a super effective Aqua Cutter. Mabostiff reappears and hits a surprising Trailblaze on us that is super effective and raises his speed. We switch in Vermillion to eat the next Trailblaze, only to receive a Bite instead. It takes us to half health, forcing me to switch in old reliable Tinglu. Bite does barely any damage, and Mabostiff retreats once more as Tinglu bulldozes Mischievous into oblivion. This forces Mabosstiff back in, causing Intimidate to take effect. A Trailblaze hits, but Bulldoze cancels it out and the speed buff, and does more damage. The next 2 turns follow the same pattern, with the Citrus Berry popping during one of them. However, it gets a little questionable after an Ice Fang that flinches Ting Lu. To play it safe, I switch in Dave to hopefully eat a hit and get a priority move off, which is exactly what happens via Sucker Punch. We face down a Team Rocket Grunt at the end of the bridge, and Philip stares down a Growlithe. Rock Slide trades with the Dragon Rage, and Growlithe switches Kamala into the next Rock Slide. Not sure what to do next, I tearful look, and then go through Kamala's Protect to lower its stats. Philip and Kamala trade a Low Kick and Last Resort. A series of Last Resorts is also cranked out by Kamala, and Philip supplies the same with the Low Kicks. Dave switches into a Last Resort, but a Sucker Punch puts an end to Kamala and brings out Gabite. We bring in Ting Lu, causing Gabite's Bulldoze to do absolutely nothing. For some reason, he switches in again this bowling ball lookalike as we set up spikes. Togedemaru U-turns, switching into Gabite again. Another layer of spikes, and Gabite switches out again, this time into Growlithe. Quaxwell takes a Dragon Rage, and Aqua Jet takes out the Growlithe the very next turn. Gabite takes damage from the spikes, and we switch into Ting Lu to tank a dual chop. Another dual chop hits, but we Whirlwind to bring Togedemaru into the spikes.
This is big brain time.
An Iron Head gets thrown our way, but a Bulldoze puts the roly-poly rat back to bed. Gabite comes into more spikes, and after a dual chop, we send a Payback his way to knock him out. We finish the bridge and proceed to our next encounter. It seems like Gen 9's been treating us pretty well, as we come across a Slitherwing. Even better, we catch it on our first throw with a Quick Ball, and take home a nice Paradox Mon. We'll flash forward and enter Bill's house, and find a Clefable instead of Bill. A boy inside a Pokemon. Wait, I mean, a guy stuck in another living thing. What do you mean? Hold on.
Stop it. Get some help.
Anyway, Bill needs our help to fix himself. He enters the pod, and we go to the PC to switch him back. With that, we go to our Route 25 encounter and find a Knackle Stack. A Quick Ball makes a quick catch once again. Flash forward, and we enter another random dude's house to go through an exit and a gigantic hole in the far wall. These are completely normal. Outside, we find a Team Rocket Grunt who we cannot sneak past. Philip stares down a Persian and trades a Low Kick for a Water Pulse. We switch Quaxwell into Persian's Water Pulse. The move range is crazy, as Persian fires a Shockwave that does major damage, but an Aqua Cutter sends Persian back to the bench. Octillery coming in sees us switch into Delmite to eat some Bullet Seeds. Rock Blast comes from Octillery next, but we send a Giga Drain back his way that, despite the berry, still does a lot of damage. The turn repeats again, but with Octillery fainting this time around. Ting Lu comes in to a Cross Poison from Golbat, then takes a Mega Drain in return for setting up spikes. Another Mega Drain, but a Payback this time leaves Golbat at half health. Mega Drain, Citrus Pops, and then another layer of spikes. Whirlwind brings the not-so-little Piggy out next, and Oink alone takes a bit of damage from the spikes. Body Press trades for spikes, and then we switch into Dave, who gets a small scratch from her next Body Press. We Sword Stance in the face of a Stockpile, followed by a Poison Fang that poisons Oink alone, but also eats a berry to heal. A Headbutt does a bit of damage. Finally, another Poison Fang and some poison damage sends that Piggy to the market. And here in this moment is where I screw up. I think a Sword Stance boosted Sucker Punch will do Golbat in. Sadly mistaken, I pay for it by adding Dave to the death box. I bring in Philip to face a Mega Drain that trades for a Rock Slide, leaving Golbat barely alive. Vivillon switches in, and in the end manages to take out Golbat in revenge for Dave. We continue down to our next encounter, a Mawile, and better yet, with the ability as one.
Nice.
A Quick Ball doesn't work, and we come back with a knockoff to try to whittle Mawile down. A Metal Claw comes our way. This exchange continues until we throw an Ultra Ball and finally catch her. We take the underground path to Route 6, where we come across a Kricketot.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Not ideal, but we catch it anyway with a Quick Ball. Our next battle starts with a Jangmo-o, and we start off with an Anchor Shot from Delmise, triggering Jangmo-o's randomized ability, Weak Armor, and a Scary Face comes our way the next turn before we knock Jangmo-o out. Ponyta comes out and uses Covet, but a Water Gun gives it an early exit. We move on to Vermillion City and go to the Pokémon Center to heal and change our team's nature to more advantageous ones. We grab an egg from a sketchy old dude in the middle of the town, and then hatch it to receive a Minccino. Next, we go into the water to get our next encounter and manage to fish up a monstrous encounter. A Rapid Strike Urshifu would be a phenomenal addition to our team, but our challenge lies in catching it.
6.5 hours later.
Rather than bore you with the repetitive catch attempts, we fast forward, and finally, we've managed to catch it. Next, I decided to look at our box and check up on our latest additions. We grab Kricketot and Urshifu. Lo and behold, Urshifu gets Sheer Force, a big up on all his moves except for Surging Strikes, which we want to have that effect on. He also needs his nature change just a bit. Kricketot is a sleeper though. Hopefully upon evolving he keeps his ability, but he also needs a nature change. We go ahead and evolve him, and Kricketune joins the band. We move on to tackle the SS Anne. Our first battle has Urshifu and Quaxwell staring down a Dartrix and Simisear. Mawile comes in for Quaxwell, and Urshifu survives a Fire Pledge and an Air Slash to fire back Surging Strikes to take out Simisear.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
I'm so bad, bro. There's no way I just got an Urshifu and lost it to the stupid owl and the fire monkey.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, Brett.
Rather than jumping through a window because of my mistake, I decide to take revenge. I switch into Quaxwell and take an Air Slash to Wing Attack and Metal Claw. Dartrix goes down, and in comes Simisage. This time around, I'm smarter and swap in Slitherwing and Covet with Mawile. A Grass Pledge does nothing, and as we Covet, Flame Charge to take down Simisage. Meanwhile, the Magma Storm is taking a toll on our team. But last but not least is Wigglytuff coming in. But a Low Kick and a Metal Claw take care of that. On to the next one. We change up our team and healed, and now face a Nidoqueen and a Tatsugiri. Damage has been done around the board. Nidoqueen falls asleep to a Sleep Powder, and Ting Lu bulldozes after taking a Dragon Pulse to send Tatsugiri out and deal a decent amount to Nidoqueen. We follow the same pattern to take Nidoqueen out and move on. We heal once more, then head towards the next big battle, the rival battle with Brendan. Loudred and Delmise stare each other down. Hyper Voice exchanges with a Giga Drain, nearly one-shotting Loudred. Water Gun hits the Lunatone to switch in. Lunatone power gems but hits a hay from a Giga Drain.
Fatality.
Brendan's partner Grovyle comes in, so we bring in Slitherwing to eat up a Power Punch. We tank another power-up punch and deal massive Flame Charge damage. We outspeed this time and Flame Charge again, eliminating Grovyle. Loudred returns to the field, but another Flame Charge ends his story. And Crawdaunt is Brendan's last, and a decisive low sweep brings the Lobster down to low HP. And as he throws back a waterfall that hurts us, it's not as much as the sting of the feet that Brendan tastes once again.
It's a good story. It's funny. You're a funny guy.
Next, we visit the captain, and miraculously, we just happen to rub his back and his seasickness is healed. He gives us a cut to him, and while he contemplates a career change, we leave to go take on the final boss of this episode, Surge. The final battle begins. Pinchurchin leads for Surge, and electric terrain takes hold. We Giga Drain with Delmise and one-shot Pinchurchin. One down, and as Belly Bolt comes in, we decide to switch into Ting Lu after some thought. This was the right choice, as an electric move is ineffective on Ting Lu. Then we switch into Vivillon to set up the sun and make the muddy water that comes our way weaker. We set up a light screen to take less damage from special attacks and receive a parabolic charge in exchange. We switch into Ting Lu again, causing a follow-up parabolic charge to not do a thing. I choose to Bulldoze, as Manectric switches into and gets off an Intimidate, in exchange for half of his health and a speed debuff. Manectric Mega evolves the next turn. Thankfully, we switch to avoid another Intimidate and a hidden power with Delmise. We switch back to Ting Lu to reset the attack being lowered and cause a charge beam to go to waste. We Bulldoze as Manectric and Bellybolt trade places, and a Berry mitigates the super effective damage. We Bulldoze again, still not enough to take it out, and a Muddy Water is sent at us. Our next Bulldoze gets rid of Bellybolt, and Palmont is next in line. We switch into Slithering. At this point, I'm really not sure how to attack Palmont. So I switch again, and 2 Thunder Punches results in a paralysis on Delmise, and as we fire off a Giga Drain to do a good old bit of damage.
We don't do that.
Today's been a day full of bad decisions, as I throw Vivillon to the wolves with a Drain Punch and a Mach Punch, spelling the end of our time together.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Thinking Slitherwing will be able to make something happen, I switch it in. A Thunder Punch causes our Citrus Berry to pop, but we manage to take Palmont down with a low sweep. Raichu comes in. Call me the king of bad decisions today, because I leave Slitherwing in, and a super effective Psyshock causes the party in the death box to only grow.
You stupid idiot!
Ting Lu is the only one who can save us now, but a Grass Knot makes the light at the end of the tunnel grow dimmer. A Bulldoze brings Raichu so close to being knocked out, but somehow hangs on. We switch into Cinccino, with a Grass Knot that does little damage to it. Tail Slap ends Raichu's reign on the field, and our final boss and only obstacle in our way is this Mega Manectric. A Tail Slap does some, but not enough, and a Volt Switch hits us for a lot. This decision is questionable, but I let Cinccino go down.
It's about time.
For a clean and safe switch in, Mawile stands a Flame Burst, and thankfully, our choice to covet takes Mega Manectric down and results in us getting the badge.
We actually did it.
And our Mons have a new level cap, so with that we decide to evolve him. Axew hits his new Teenage Angst phase, but grows out of it quickly when we evolve him from Fracture to Haxorus. Knacklestack evolves into the Golem from Minecraft. Kidding, into Garganackle. And Cosmog evolves into Cosmoem.
Hello.
Lastly, Brion turns into Primarina.
Hey, that's pretty good.
And Quaxwell hits its final Evo with Quackable. And with that, we have conquered Surge, saved Bill, and now ready ourselves to continue our adventure until next time. Remember to like and subscribe, and thanks again for tuning in.